Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to give you an update on what's been going on here in the fish room, in particular with that 300-gallon tank. I think I'm going to be going in a different direction from what I discussed with you the last time. So let's go ahead and get into it now. For those of you who have set up a new tank, you know that it's a pretty big task, and there's a lot involved. And I'll show you what I've been doing recently, and it's been mostly spending time over at Home Depot, and you can see here some of the bounty from Home Depot. These are some of the items that are going to be used in the sump. Okay, lots of elbows. And these are 1.5-inch elbows and 1-inch elbows and elbows that can transition into PVC. This will allow me to connect the plumbing to a soft PVC. So the pump will be connected to a braided piece of vinyl hose. That'll reduce vibration. I've got about 10 or 12 feet of 1.5-inch PVC. I've got about 20 feet of 1-inch PVC. The 1-inch PVC is going to be primarily for the return. Here's a return. There's two returns, one on each side of the tank and the upper corner. This is 1-inch plumbing. So you have a curve here, an elbow, right? An elbow goes there, something like this. So you have an elbow that goes here, attaches to that, and then that's going to go down with PVC and then across and then underneath the tank. In the hole, I'm going to be making a hole down here. You can see some of the lines already. So there's going to be a hole down there that's going to go down into the sump. This is the overflow box. This is called a Synergy Shadow Overflow Box, and it has on this side here, you can see it has what is called a weir box on the inside of the tank. So the water goes into here, and then goes through the holes that are in the tank, and then the water pours down through 3 openings that are in this box. One of them is a primary, and then you have a secondary, and then an overflow, like a emergency overflow here. You have to make sure everything is level. That's why we have some levels going on here. Everything has to be perfectly level. So the box inside and outside attachments have to be level, and of course the tank itself, you want that to be perfectly level as well. So a level is a big part of the job. You have things like gate valves to regulate the flow of the primary. It's a 1.5-inch gate valve. It would fit over, it would be glued onto something like this. And then you have a lot of these unions. These are called unions that allow you to disassemble parts of the plumbing without having to cut and do stuff. So this lets you separate them without having to cut again. So you want to put as many of these unions in there as you can. And when I say I'm going in a different direction, what I mean is originally I talked about using this 60-gallon acrylic. This is a 60-gallon acrylic tank from my friends over at Glass Cage. As you can see, there's stickers there. So Joe brought this over, and I was planning on using it. Such a beautiful tank, though. I thought, you know what? I don't know if I want to use that beautiful tank as a sump. I was going to drill. Actually, I was going to make a hole here. You can see here I have some of the markings. I was going to put a big door here and put the 60 in this way because it wouldn't fit in through the front. Through the front here, it just wouldn't fit. I couldn't get it to turn around in there. So I was going to have to cut a big hole here on the side. I didn't want to cut a hole in the stand, so I went out and I went over to Petco, and you saw that in a prior video, and I picked up this 40-gallon breeder. This 40-gallon breeder, I think, will do the job. It has a lot of water volume. It will allow me to put some of those tall sponges in there, some of those matten sponges, and a couple pumps. I'm going to need 2 pumps because I have two returns, like I said, on this tank. I have 2 returns, one on each corner, so I'm going to have to use 2 pumps. Trying to work something out right now. on getting my hands on 2 pumps. So instead of cutting a hole in it, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in through the front. You can see how, get a better idea of how that sump system works by looking at it here. This is the overflow box. And you can see it has a primary and a secondary to help with the water flow, and an emergency. If this ever were to become blocked, this emergency pipe would handle that blockage. And then you've got the plumbing with the unions. These are the unions, right? So you can disassemble it right here. It all would attach, and I can work on the box separately. And here's the gate valve, a gate valve that I would adjust. I adjust that gate valve so that the water in the primary is just over the top of the primary overflow. So the water is just covering that primary, and then I know that the gate valve has been cranked down sufficiently. This is a one-way valve, so that when I stop the pump, it shuts down so that water doesn't siphon down and overflow the sump. If you have these in place, you don't have to worry about getting overflowing. It would be very, very unusual to overflow. And with a 300-gallon, each of these returns are going to have one of these worked into it. This is a gate valve, or rather a check valve. This is a check valve that only goes one way, and so it'll prevent water from back siphoning from the tank when I'm doing work on the tank. So I've got 2 of those that will be glued in line into this 1-inch. Some of this 1-inch pipe will have those. These are really nice because they have unions on each side, so you can just detach them. If you need to clean them, you can just detach them very easily. A lot easier than the one I have on the 210. I'm very busy, and I have a lot to do. Because of that, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to Aquaticon. That's in Knoxville at the end of the month. I've just got too much on my plate right now, both with time and money, and so it became a little bit impractical for me to get over to Aquaticon. I've just got to really got to put my emphasis on getting this thing set up, and between plumbing and substrate and everything else, I mean, you get into the many hundreds of dollars very, very quickly. It's not an inexpensive proposition. Here's some of the fish. You can see they're doing great. The size of that trout, my goodness. They're hungry. Got to feed them. Here's our friend, the old Vieja Zonatus, in his little constructed cave area. My peaceful tank, doing great. Redhead Tapajos, green tear, red spotted severums. There's some electric acaras hiding over here in their little hiding spot. They'll come out when I feed them. Got the chocolates back there. Beautiful little dwarf blue rainbows. These guys are also, everybody's got to get fed. They're all pretty hungry. You can see they're all doing well. Love that Jack Dempsey. Just a beautiful little female. Doesn't like to get into the feeding frenzy. Just waits and then kind of picks food off the floor. Look at the big hole that the Vieja made there in the back. One of the fish picked up this suction cup that was holding a heater monitor. Picked up the suction cup, started carrying it around, and dropped it right there. I don't know why they would do that. Fish are a little crazy. Red shoulder, Salvini, Suryamanensis. All of them are doing great. Here's the planted tank with the 2 cherry barbs. They're always harassing each other. Gary the snail is down there somewhere. Saw him around earlier. And we'll take a quick look before we end off here at the community tank. Here's the community tank. A few plants in there. Red serpas, cardinal tetras, rummy nose. I think rummy nose are the coolest fish. There's a little green tear in there too. Some nice lemons, a couple cories. And then here's my betta. Mr. Mustard, a blue mustard gas blue betta, very pretty fish. So, needless to say, I'm a busy guy, got a lot on my plate, got to cut some pipe, have to glue some pipe. I've got special clear primer and glue that I've ordered that's being delivered from Home Depot, and I think I pretty much have everything I need to construct the sump. But on some of the sump websites that talk about, putting together a sump and doing the plumbing, they tell you to be ready to go to the hardware store, 5 or 6 times. So, and so I suspect that might end up happening. So that's okay, as long as I get it done right, and that's what matters. So we'll talk about this and a whole bunch more on Saturday at the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. I hope you can join me. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe, the bell, the thumbs up. Let YouTube know something good's going on, and that way they'll encourage other fish keepers to watch the videos and help the channel to grow. All right. And if you'd like to support the channel further, consider becoming a member of the Garage Gang. Help me rehabilitate this garage. With a donation of $3 a month, you can be a Garage Gang member. It's $3 on up, and your choice. And you can see the link in the description, and you can become a Patreon Garage Gang member. For those of you that have done that, thank you so much. You are very appreciated. All right, thank you, everybody, and I'll see you on Saturday at 11 a.m. for Cichlids and Coffee. That's 11 a.m. Central. We'll talk about this and a whole bunch more for about an hour with a great group of fish keepers. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.